At the end of every civil war comes a difficult question. What do we call the victor? Are they a government? Or are they still insurgents/terrorists? It's a tough question, especially in Afghanistan. Let me tell you why. The Taliban are no ordinary rebels. They are religious zealots. They have a history of guarding terrorists, of being terrorists, killing their own people. But today, they are an indisputable reality. The Taliban are lounging in the presidential palace. They're holding press conferences. It doesn't matter whether you like them or not. For world leaders, this is a new headache, a new reality. Do they recognize the Taliban regime or not? Do they wait and watch? Or do they reject them outright? Some countries cannot hide their happiness. I'm talking about the likes of Pakistan, China and Russia. Imran Khan said that Afghans had broken the shackles of slavery. A hard sell looking at the scenes in Kabul airport. This chaos is not what emancipation looks like. For these countries, the decision is pretty straightforward. Recognize the Taliban and get something in return. But for Western nations, it is a tough call. They fought the Taliban for 20 years. They lost soldiers to Taliban attacks. Can they afford to recognize the new regime? On Sunday, it was all gung-ho. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson ruled out relations with the Taliban. But 2 days on, he's having second thoughts. The Prime Minister spoke in the UK Parliament today. He said that he will judge the Taliban based on their actions.
We will judge this regime based on the choices it makes and by its actions rather than by its words. On its attitude to terrorism, to crime and narcotics, as well as humanitarian access and the rights of girls to receive an education.
Talk about high hopes. The Taliban are not turning woke. They're saying exactly what the international community wants to hear. Why? Because they need money. And it's not just Britain. The United States too is playing the waiting game. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said, this is the National Security Advisor of the US, and this is what he said. He expects the Taliban to protect human rights.
What we expect from the Taliban going forward, that is something that will have to be watched and observed over time, whether in fact they are prepared to meet their obligations to the basic human rights and human dignity of people.
Same with the European Union. Recognition or not, they say talking to the Taliban is a must. We understand there are no easy choices here. Only one reality. The Taliban are in control of a war-torn, impoverished country. Millions of Afghans are homeless. How do you help them without engaging with the Taliban? Will aid money fund the Taliban's army? Chances are it will. What about social media? The Taliban of 2021 is social media savvy. They have around 900,000 followers on Twitter. 900,000. One of the most prominent faces is Suhail Shaheen. He boasts of 360,000 followers. Of course, Twitter doesn't care. They're busy banning presidents and breaking rules. But what happened to the ascetic Taliban? How are they using American tools? Does the Sharia allow this? Just goes on to show their hypocrisy. Social media helped the Taliban sweep across Afghanistan. Their spokesman talked about peace and diversity on Twitter. But on the battlefield, they were massacring Afghan soldiers. What did Twitter do to flag this disconnect? Pretty much nothing. The sensitive tweeting machine does not care about Taliban propaganda. What about other social media platforms? Facebook has banned all accounts praising, supporting and representing the Taliban. YouTube says it will do the same. What about young Taliban fighters? Everyone has a smartphone these days. What is stopping them from using Instagram or TikTok to peddle propaganda? The answer is nothing. Taliban have been in fact posing as social media stars. They've been using social media. They post pictures from war and videos of hate speeches. It's become a powerful propaganda tool. Why is no one cancelling them? Apparently, it's for information. The world wants to know what the Taliban spokesmen are saying, even if it's propaganda or complete nonsense. Will they also hand over Afghan government accounts to the Taliban? If and when they make a government, what they call a government. It's certainly a possibility. We're talking about American companies here. They use the State Department's terror list for such decisions. In 2019, Twitter took down accounts belonging to Hamas and Hezbollah. Both of them are listed as foreign terror groups. Guess who isn't? The Taliban. The US has already legitimized the Taliban. They signed a diplomatic agreement with them last year. Talk about strange times. Until a few years back, these people were hiding in caves. They were being hunted by Western troops. Today, we're debating putting them on Facebook. Guess in the end, only power matters, irrespective of the monster who wields it. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.